Hey everybody, Brad here on Nelson Ridge Farm. Good tunes there. Hey, today I'm reacting to Chris's video from In The Woodyard, one of the most popular firewood channels on YouTube that I know of. And he's going to be making a video today about whether or not to stack firewood to dry. That's been a topic in the community for a long time now. Whether you have to stack it in neat rows to let it dry, or whether you can put it in piles and save a lot of labor and let it dry that way. And Chris's video, I think this by the title, he's against stacking firewood. So let's see what he has to say, and I'll do a reaction to it.
Today on In The Woodyard, we've got deliveries. People want wood. I'm going to bring it to them. It's time to chuck some wood. Here we go.
Hey, full disclosure here, I'm a huge fan of Chris in The Woodyard. I found his channel very early on. I think I was subscriber 42 or 43. He's got like 70,000 now almost. So if you haven't subscribed to Chris's channel In The Woodyard, please go find it. There'll be the link down there in the description and all that. But I'm a big fan of Chris, and I'm going to listen to what he says here.
So what I've got today is two deliveries. I got one this morning and one this afternoon. Absolutely great day to be here. There's hardly any wind. Clouds are breaking up a little bit. We're supposed to have partly sunny skies. I haven't seen the sun now in about, 4 or 5 days. So it'll be nice to see that again. Now,
what I love is he talks to the camera. I feel like he's talking right to me. And I kind of listen to what he says. He in the past, I listened to him during COVID mostly. That's when I found him. And he was at another woodyard where I was so impressed with his immaculate, massive stacks of wood. I'd never seen wood stacks like that before. I mean, over his head, 7, 8 feet tall, full cords stacked in immaculate rows with crisscross corners and all that. So that really drew me to this corner. That was at his old woodyard where he had another business, and I don't really even know why he moved over to this new woodyard. If you do know, will you put it in the comments, because I missed that portion of his run on the YouTube channel. I need to catch up. All of a sudden, I started watching again, and he was over at this new woodyard. But let's listen to what he says.
I got a comment from a person that's new to the channel just the other day, and it's a good comment, and I've heard it a couple times before. Actually, it was kind of a question comment. What they said was, I can't believe that having all your wood just thrown into these bins that the wood dries. And their question was, how come you don't properly stack your wood? Well, it's a good question. I used to stack wood. I used to waste my time stacking wood because I want.
So again, that was back in the days that I started watching him. He had just cords and cords and cords and cords of wood stacked of all kind, and he would take you around the woodyard and show you exactly what kind of wood was in each stack. So that's what I love that.
I wanted to know how much wood I had, and I had a limited space.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why you stack wood, because you want to compress it into a nice organized way that you know how much you have, and it's kind of neat and organized. Well, when you have the volume I do, and if you watch any of the people that have full-time, big-scale commercial operations with firewood, they don't stack wood. They just don't. There's a few.
So I think, yeah, he's talking about those. He's taken us out there a few times on the channel, but these huge commercial guys who just use processors, and it's stacked up, sky high, and they use, buckets and stuff to get it loaded and out to where they sell it. But yeah, they don't touch the wood very much. He's right. I agree with that.
Places I've seen that have stacked it into totes because they deliver in totes. And that's fine if that's the way they do it. But I think that's a waste of time. From what I have found, throwing it into the bins loose, number one, saves me a buttload of time. I mean, a ton. It just goes directly right in the bins here, from the splitter, up the elevator, and into the bin. We move the elevator, goes up into the bin. If you watch the videos, you've seen how it works.
Okay, so now he's talking about something I don't have. So now here's the difference. If he's saying don't stack firewood, which that's that's the title of the video he had, I don't have an elevator for my splitter, so I have to split, and I would have to throw it into a bin. So I'm touching it again anyway, whether I stack it or whether I put it in this homemade bin that he's got there. You kind of see behind him that's made of pallets.
So we're eliminating a lot of touching of the wood, because as a lot of you know, the more you touch the wood, the less money you make, because it's time. Time is the big thing here. You want to touch it as little as possible. The big operations, the guys that I've seen that have the places that sell truckloads, semi-truckloads of firewood at a time, they don't touch the wood. They never touch it. So I'm going to try.
He's been there. So he's like physically gone to those places and, checked it out.
To get to that eventually. That's kind of my plan, is to work towards very little touching of the wood. So what...
Chris just said he doesn't like to touch his wood very much.
The answer is, I guess, is that I want the wood to dry as fast as possible, number one. I want to touch it as little as possible. I want to put as little effort into it as possible. I'm still doing a lot because I am loading it in by hand. One of the reasons I do that is I want the wood to be clean. And yes, there are guys I know that use buckets and they scoop it off the ground, but I cannot.
Okay, he may go into this more, but I totally agree with him. I can buy firewood pretty cheap here if I was going to be a reseller. There are guys who use processors and then they pile up on the ground, it seems like, and they'll scoop it with their skid steer or their tractor loader. And I've bought some before, and it just gets home and it's muddy. And I have to resplit a lot of it because it's big splits, but the ones that don't are muddy. So I don't like to resell muddy firewood.
Tell you how many customers I have had, the new customers I should say, that ask me, how do you load your wood? Do you use a skid steer? Do you use a bucket? Because the last guy that I ordered from, I got all the wood was just smeared in mud and dirt and grass and rocks and bark. And I got wheelbarrows full, literally wheelbarrows full of crud that I had to clean up. And the wood, when I brought it into the house, had mud on it. And as it melted, all that mud and dirt came off. So I'm gaining customers by having really clean wood. That is something that people want. Think about it yourself. Do you want someone walking in with mud on their feet all through your house? Because that's what you're...
Yeah, that didn't really have to do with stacking or in piles, but he's talking about hand loading the wood in. And that's one of the questions I have, and maybe it'll clear up at the end of this, but when this wood is dry a year from now, how easy is it to load? Like, I don't want to be climbing in a homemade pallet bin and standing on stacks of, firewood trying to throw it into the trailer or the truck. So maybe he'll address that. But that's one of the reasons I love to stack my firewood is I can pull the trailer right up next to it and just throw it right in the trailer from a foot or two away. And I'm not on an unstable, piles of firewood. But we'll see if he addresses that.
Wood is if it's all smeared in mud, and a lot of people think that that's okay. It's not. It's not. That's not what people want. So
concur.
On to the stacking. Yes, if you are in a residential area, yes, if you're having wood for yourself where it's a small amount, say you've only got 8 cords of wood that you're burning in a year, say you got 24 face cords of wood that you burn for yourself, yeah, then stacking it is nice, because what it does by stacking, you know how much wood you have.
Well, he's going through the reasons here, but I love that he's fair to the other side of the argument. For his situation, I think he's saying it doesn't make any sense to stack anymore. But for a situation like mine where I burn, he thinks 24 face cords is a little bit. That's a lot for me, but I burn about 3 face cords, maybe 1 full cord a year in the wood stove in here, and then I like to sell it. But I am near my neighbors. We do have over 135 acres here with the family. But the way my wood yard is, it's up against my one neighbor. So I want it to kind of look neat. So he's being fair to that side of the argument. Nice, Chris.
It's nice and neat and pretty looking, which if you're in a residential area, in a neighborhood where you want people to think you are all perfect and you got everything organized, yes. Okay. That makes sense. Right. The other thing is if you stack it in a way that it's off the ground on pallets, single rows, maybe spaces between it, it's going to dry pretty good that way.
That's exactly how I do it.
These loose bins that I have that we fill up, the wood can breathe tremendously. The air flows right through them. By stacking it, not stacking it, by just piling it into these bins like I have, it's off the ground on pallets. We've got walls on the side. I'll show you those in just a second.
Yeah, so he keeps it just like I have mine on pallets. he's still keeping his on pallets. There's pallets under it and pallets kind of on the side, making makeshift walls so he can stack up higher. But the wind will get through all that and keep some airflow going.
A little closer. They dry fantastic. It's out in the open here, and I save myself a ton of work. So that is why I don't stack wood. Time, I don't care what it looks like out here. It doesn't matter. It's going to dry better. Effort that I have to put into it.
Some music.
Those are the reasons why. So there you go. It's time to chuck some wood.
Let's watch him chuck. This firewood looks amazing. Look at that. Okay, hey, I just want to tie it up. I don't think he talked about a year from now or whenever that wood is dry. You see those awesome bins he's made up there for his situation. And you see him in there, he's throwing, he's doing fine. He's older than I am, but he's doing fine. So it may not be as big of an issue as I'm talking about. I'm going to play it just a little bit more so you can see what he's doing. Hey, he's on the ground. He's figured it out. So they're starting over. Hey, so I appreciate Chris. I appreciate you making this video for us, getting the discussion going, telling us the reasons why you throw it in a bin, which I can totally agree with. I did love your old woodyard where you had those stacks. It was just, I couldn't believe it. So, and I totally agree. You're just selling too much firewood to keep doing that. And I see those bins right there above my head right now, and they seem to be working for you fine. So thanks everybody for watching. If you got any comments about what you do in your situation, I'd like to read about them. And if you have some other ideas besides stacking them in a bin or stacking them in straight rows, let us know. So everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe, Nelson Ridge Farm. Thank you.